So another way to look at the government and your brain and my gosh, that sun is bad. To look at the government, your brain, the world is like, or even like, a company, like a CEO. You gotta look at the government is basically the gut. Okay, it's the central processing unit. You need to have some kind of centralized authority to be able to direct all the different systems in place and make sure they go smoothly. I see all these anti-government people and all the people that are against the status. So if you don't have a very well balanced gut and your gut is in chaos, guess what? You have chaos in all of your 11 different systems. Because we are seeing what happens when the gut is out of balance. We're seeing that. You're seeing cancer, disease, chronic illness, death, chaos, infanticide, homicide, suicide, any kind of side. And that comes from a gut out of balance. So when you have a gut out of balance, guess what? You're going to have a government somewhat imbalanced. Not completely 100%, because if that were to happen, you wouldn't be able to go to work or go to school or drive a car because there'd be too many marauding invaders trying to take your stuff all the time, every single time. So the reason why we have some kind of law and order in our society is because the gut government is relatively balanced relative to the general population. And so I'm looking at my government as a reflection of the general population. And right now, the general population is relatively balanced because I can go outside without having to dodge bullets. Now, obviously, if you go into different parts of, the city, then you may have to dodge bullets, but then you move to somewhere else. But, if you didn't have a relatively well-balanced government as well as a well-balanced gut, you wouldn't be able to walk. You wouldn't be able to go buy food. You wouldn't be able to go do the things that you take for granted, like walk to your mailbox without being accosted by roving, rapers and pillagers. It would be like Mad Max Thunderdome if we didn't have some kind of relatively balanced gut / government. So it's interesting how these anti-government people, these anarchists, think that they can thrive in death and chaos. Because look at their gut. It's chaotic. Look at societies where they don't really have a centralized government. They have death and chaos, and they have Mother Nature, and they have, Darwinism, survival of the fittest, no due process. That's what a society without a centralized government is. It's Darwinism, pure Darwinism. And if these anti-government want pure Darwinism, they need to go move to the sub-Saharan desert of Africa and go live on a commune with no centralized government, no protection, no law enforcement, no type of justice system, just the justice system of the sword, survival of the fittest. Some of these people that live in LA and they're kind of like soy boys and they're all anti-government, they couldn't survive in a true Darwinistic society where there's no due process. So that's why I kind of find it funny that these anti-government people think that they can have a new society with no centralized government, and they have leaky gut and major issues, and they couldn't survive in some place like the sub-Saharan desert of Africa in the middle of really tough tribes that will take everything that they have. So, I'm telling you, once you get on this J juice, you're going to see a lot of things for what they really are. And call it out too, because that's what's going to be, that's what your conscience is not going to let you, just not say something. You're going to laugh. You're going to make fun. Yes. You're going to call out the truths and the hypocrisies, and you won't be afraid to, because you're not looking for popularity. I mean, I'm not looking for popularity. I'm looking for the side of life. Not even the side of right, but the side of life. The side of life is where you have law and order, okay, the law and order of life, and you understand death and chaos, but that is more to reconfirm your position on the side of life, because you see where you could potentially end up if you don't follow the laws of life and order. So, you got to have the yin and the yang, but you don't have to be the one to go down that death trajectory. Okay? So, you have to understand the connection of why you need to have a central processing unit in a computer, in a phone. You got to have a gut that's going to be able to dictate and make sure that all of your 11 different systems are working the way they're supposed to. And you got to have a centralized government to make sure that all of the 11 different systems and the components of that society are working the way it's supposed to, and holding people accountable as much as they can. Know the government isn't perfect. Know your gut isn't always perfect, but you're always willing to adapt and upgrade. And our government right now, through all of what's going on, is adapting and upgrading. And the people are going to have to adapt and upgrade. And if they can't, they won't survive. So Darwinism will always be in play. Man and the government has tried to delay Darwinism a little bit. But you can only hold off Mother Nature for so long before she actually does what she has to do. All right? So that's just my take. You guys have a good day.